Well, hey folks, it's Viejo here. Merry Christmas, everybody. It is in fact Christmas Day here in 2023, and not only that, it's Moldy Monday. So we're going to go ahead and get into this, and what I've got for you on Moldy Monday today is an MP mold. Okay, that's Miha Previc. He's from Slovenia, one of our premier mold makers. He just does a wonderful job, and everybody who gets one of his molds really enjoys shooting them. This is a 4-cavity brass mold for 9mm and 38 calibers. It casts a couple of different kinds of bullets, a hollow point and a flat point. And so that's what we're going to be working with today. I got to preface this with a little bit. As you know, I haven't been able to get to the range for quite a while. So I haven't been able to do any new shooting. And I had dug around on the computer and found some footage of the bullets and a little bit of casting related stuff. It wasn't much. When I had cast this, it was a year ago when I cast this mold, but I haven't shown it to you yet. And so I wasn't set up to do a regular Moldy Monday casting video with a couple cameras. You know how I do it. So I do have a little bit there of the production, you know, the raw bullets as they came out of the mold. I'm not going to show you here on YouTube any of the mold itself, but we will, of course, on the Rumble channel. You know how that works by now. And also, there's a little bit of loading video that I'm going to put in there instead, and I think that it's all YouTube safe. There's no actual loading. I just showed you some of what we were doing, but I didn't do any actual loading on camera. So I will show you that here on the YouTube version as well. And there's some shooting video too. And that's kind of the same story. It was kind of stuck around in different places on the computer, and I couldn't find all of it. I got a little bit of it to show you. Okay, if you're watching on YouTube, then from this point, we're going to drop right into the metrics page and show you what the powder coat looked like. And when we'll talk a little bit about how I loaded these. Okay, and then go on to some shooting. Then I threw 2 cavities with a flat point, and you can see there is a little bit of a mark there left by the pin. And then I threw 2 cavities with that nice deep hollow point, and they all came out really good, no bent rims or anything. I had a number of calls right at the beginning with that mold, but after we got it warmed up, figured out the temperature she was going to run at ran great. All 4 cavities on the MP mold dropped right at 358 as far as diameters go. The solid points weighed in at 153 grains, while the hollow points came in at 146 grains at the look. All right, the flat points there, that's a powder coat that we call Seasick, 50/50 Eastwood Midnight Green Metallic and Sea Blue. And the hollow points over here are going to be Ruby Red. We got a couple of strays that got into the solid points there. That's all right. There's the hollow points in Ruby Red. That's a real deep, dark red. And then here's our solid points, mostly solid points, and mostly in Seasick, that blend of Eastwood Midnight Green Metallic and Sea Blue. All right, we'll quench them. Here's our metrics page for this bullet, the MP 938-147, designed for both 9mm and 38-357. So the flat points came out at 153 grains, and the hollow points a little less, naturally at 146. We used Viejo number 2, that's about a 9562 or so alloy, for a BHN of around 15. This one liked to run hot at around 740 degrees. All of the cavities had the same diameter, right at 358. Okay, the overall length, 0.666, and the base up to that top of the shank, 0.335. Here's our die setup. The cases have already been sized, so we're going to expand using the Redding Premium Expander die. And that gives us a good step in there, seats that bullet up nice and straight. Here, we like that. Probably won't dump charges through the Hornady powder through die today. I don't need to do that. I'll do it right on the bench. Going to be using an RCBS cedar die. The seating stem I have in there fits the profile pretty well for these bullets. And then for crimp, we're going to use a Redding profile crimp. If we look closely at this bullet, you see that there is no crimp groove there, but there is a slight shoulder, which is nice. That little kind of an indent where the ogive begins and separates from the shank is nice. That helps with feeding if you're going to use this in a semi-auto. Not an issue with the straight wall 38 cases that these are going into today. But without a crimp groove, we either taper crimp, and Lee makes a nice taper crimp die for 38-357, and so does, well, RCBS used to. I have one. I don't know if they still make that die or not. But we're going to use the Redding profile crimp die, and we're going to put the case mouth just over that little shoulder there. Since this bullet has no crimp groove in it, we're going to use this die because it offers a taper crimp with a slight roll at the very end of the stroke. Is perfect for this kind of bullet. Shell holder down here is a Redding shell holder for 38-357. So that's our die setup for today. And I like to chamfer the inside of the case mouth before I use these range cases for the first time, or any cases for that matter. It's just a lot easier to seat our cast bullets that way. So just a couple of turns like that. And you can see that sort of shininess now on the inside of that case mouth. And that is just put a very slight bevel in there for us. And then we'll come around to the outside. Again, just a couple turns. You're not trying to turn this into a cookie cutter edge. We just want to get rid of any little burrs that might be on the outside there. That helps keep from scraping the inside of our dies, particularly the sizing dies on our straight wall cases. So that's it. Again, just a couple turns with each end of our burr tool, and you can do this if you got a lot on your case prep center. But I'm only doing 20 cases today, so the hand tool works well. And I confirmed my balance with my Lyman check weight set. What I do is I set my poise out here to a value close to my charge weight that I'm going to use, and then put that same amount of check weights in the pan, and then come over here and adjust my zero. Okay, so in this case we're using just a little under 4 grains of the Winchester 231, so I put 4 grains of check weights in the pan, set my poise at 4 grains, came over here and adjusted this until I zeroed out exactly across there with my zero line. So that's how we do that. My bench is not quite level, and so I have a bubble level there, and it requires that little washer under that one corner to keep this whole thing level. But that works. We're seating right at 1.485. If we look closely, let's get that focused in. Come on, buddy. You can see we're just over that little shoulder. Okay, there's our round seated and crimped with the Redding profile crimp die. Kind of hard to tell, but that crimp has just started to roll over the edge of that shoulder. If we look around the edge there, we can see that there's no gap there between the case mouth and the edge of the or sides of the bullet. So that's where we want it. So if you look there, you can see that there's really no gap between the case wall and the sides of the bullet there.
on the ogive. So we're just right on the ogive. Okay, no lead shaving going on here, no powder coat shaved. Perfect. Another nice thing about powder coating is that we can color code our bullets. In this case, my hollow points are the red ones and the flat points are green. And so then when I go to the range to help me identify the brass and study it later on, I just run a Sharpie right down the line of the brass after it's in my case there.
Okay, there's all of that loading and the little bit of casting stuff that we had for you. And what we'll do now is go to some of the shooting video. And the shooting was done at my local range before they shut us down for lead ammunition there. So this was again done 6 or 8 months or so ago. And a couple of clips there is all I could find, but there is some of it with some of the shooting. It was interesting. One of the club members there popped in and he was anxious to show me some of his work. I think it was his first round that he had actually cast and loaded. He was real proud of it. And he did a great job too. The bullets look great. All right, let's go look at that.
These are some of the ones that I made up.
Is that a Lee mold?
Yeah.
The 358?
Yeah.
So what we're shooting here, that's an MP mold, 153 grains in flat point and 147 grain hollow point.
Hollow points.
Yeah, it's a 4-cavity mold. It's got pins that come up from the bottom to establish whatever kind of point you want. So this time I cast 2 of these and 2 of the flat points at the same time out of that mold.
Oh,
really
neat.
Cool. Yeah. So this is the first time I've shot these. So I don't know how they're going to run yet.
Does that finish look good enough?
Oh yeah. Yeah, up here we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's where they ride, you know, down through the bore. So the coverage looks good. It's not real thick and heavy and grainy.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks.
Better than I could have done.
Ah, come on.
All right, on the left over here are the hollow point rounds. Nothing to write home about as far as accuracy. Most of that's me. 25 feet, 3.8 grains of 231. And there was the solid points, a little bit better groove, so not real shiny, but it's pretty much within my normal shooting capabilities. Good. That one turned out to be a good consistent load though for both sides. Single digit standard deviation.
All right, folks, there it is. I hope you got something out of that. Enjoyed it. Again, Merry Christmas to everybody. I know that you all are out there enjoying some family time, so thanks for taking the time to pop in here and take a look at this video of mine, and we'll catch you on the next one. But from the Viejo bench, for now, that's all she wrote.